But one guy did come out the other day, and we were just talking, and because I don't care anymore. I'm so brave. I don't care. I'm out. I'm out. I'm as out as I can be. And I said, yeah, I just eat steak. It's the answer. I mean, I eat more than steak, but that's the answer to all the questions. And this guy went, you too?
Dave, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, that's a great question. Mid-October 2023, I was 297 pounds and 60 years old. I've been 90 some odd pounds for the longest time, and tired, angry, all those things that come with poor health. And my wife, I've been married for over 30 years. She's doing great, but she was sort of on the edge. They told her for pre-diabetes and all that other stuff. And, all that goes with it. So it's funny, in the 30 years that we've been together, I'm usually the dreamer. I'm usually the one that comes up with the schemes, like the Honeymooners or any one of those shows where there's a husband and the wife, and the husband goes, honey, I got something to tell you. This is going to be great. And she goes, oh, you're crazy. You're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not going to work, and all that. So she comes into the house and she says, I think you need to see this video. And I said, okay, great. We get to sit down and watch TV. Love it. Let's do it. I love that advice. That's good. That's a good way to start. But for anybody who wants to know, I'm not a doctor or a lawyer or, full disclaimer, don't take my advice. But here's what works. Sit down and watch TV. You might learn something. Okay. So we sat down, we watched YouTube. And I think we watched maybe Dr. Baker or Dr. Berry or any of the, what do they call the typical people that you see out there now. Could have been a woman. I don't remember. But this was October 23, mid-October. And basically what I got from it, because I'm a layman, my wife is the college graduate. I'm just the truck driver from the United States. Well, I don't know anything. I know how to eat. That's what I don't know. That's what I'm good at. And it was basically what I took away was eat steak and you'll be fine. Eat meat and you'll be fine. Now, you would think, oh, Dave, you didn't know that? No, I didn't know that. And also, in my 60 years of life, I was not what you would call, quote unquote, a steak eater. I'm not that guy. I got to have a prime rib. I don't know the difference between anything, prime rib, chuck, boneless. I don't know. I just don't know. I was eating the sad diet, the standard American diet, sad American diet, whatever you want to call it. And pasta, rice, oats, all that, carbs. And so I'm a truck driver, and I used to work nights a lot, in the evening. So, you get tired about 2 or 3 in the morning. You've been on the job for 9, 10 hours. Most people go home after 8. I'm, 9, 10 hours into the day. I still got 4 or 5 hours to go. I got, hundreds of miles to go and all that. So, you got to pull over somewhere and get a little nosh, to keep you going, a little sugar. So if you give a truck driver a muffin, he's going to want a coffee, or vice versa. And he's going to want to put some Splenda in there. And he's going to want to, you know what, maybe one muffin's not enough. I should get a muffin because it's dry, a corn muffin or a chocolate chip muffin. And I'll also get some cookies because, they're fun to twist and it gives me something to do while I'm driving and I'm falling asleep. So you just constantly eating, every 10 miles to stay awake. So you get that sugar high and then you crash. So I was not what you call an educated, eater. I was just eating to be busy and all of that. So anyway, my wife comes in and she shows me this video and we watched it and I went, yeah. I mean, I've heard of carnivore years ago, but when you're sick and you're in a haze and you don't comprehend well and you don't care because you're so despondent, how many diets have we all heard of, Dave, right? By the way, I've never met a Dave I didn't like. So there you go. The streak continues. And, every diet, whatever, we can go down the list. You could be scrolling diets and it would never end. And I'm not going to say I've done them all, but I've done a lot of them. And sometimes they work, for a short time. And then after a while, it's like, I can't do this anymore. I got to, whatever happens, I stop doing it and then I blow up again. But I agreed to try it for 30 days. So yeah, I have heard of carnivore before, but it was from an ex-friend of mine, and he was saying a whole bunch of crazy things: Mediterranean, carnivore, keto. He ended up getting lap band surgery. He ended up getting that. So he lost a lot of weight, but I don't think he's very happy eating this much every day. I don't think anyway, that's just my opinion. So anyway, so we watched this video and I said, okay, I'll give it a try. 30 days. So you mean I just eat chicken, steak, lamb. I don't do organs yet. I haven't graduated to organs, but liver is on the agenda. I guess it's in the queue, as they say. I think on your side of the world, it's in the queue. So the eggs, the some cheese, anything that was alive that's no longer alive and crawled and walked, except for crickets, I can eat it. So I said, okay. And by the way, eliminate everything else, not just sugar and carbs, fruits and vegetables. I eliminated everything, salads, all of that. So that's what we did. And it didn't take long, really, for me to go, wow. So I just do this and we're done. But I'm a big bread eater, rye bread, whatever. Just go down the list of breads, which is also available, by the way, on the Thruway in New York where I work. You can just eat bread all day and night, buttered bread and all that, all those rolls, hard rolls. I love them. I used to love them. Now I don't care. But it didn't take long. It didn't take long for me to go, wow. And then it was interesting. I wish I had written it down. I wish I was a good blogger, YouTuber, and all that stuff, and really just wrote everything down and recorded everything on video, because you would have seen an incredible transformation from 297 mid-October 2023 to the other day I was 242. So that's 55 pounds. And the last month and a half, I've kind of stalled in a way. I've fluctuated 247, 242, but that's fine because I've been so busy with other things that I haven't gotten off carnivore. I just kind of lowered my exercise level, and I don't know what it is, but I'm so happy I could care less because I feel fantastic. And it didn't take long for me to really, really start going crazy and going, I really love steak. I love this steak. I love this chicken. I love these eggs. I love steak and eggs. I love bacon. Bacon every day, pretty much for 5 months. Pretty much for 5 months. Bacon every morning for breakfast. I make it for my son before he goes to work. I make it for my wife. I make it for myself. So that's a lot of bacon. We're buying 3 pounds of bacon a week. And cracked peppercorn bacon, I think it is. So yeah, I'm hardly seasoning anything. I was at first. I was like, oh yeah, parsley, whatever, sage and all that. I have a whole rack of spices. And then everything got so simple on carnivore. It's so simple. It's simple to shop. It's simple to cook. It's simple to eat. It's simple to live. And I said, you know what? I think I'm good with salt and pepper and butter. So it's just unbelievable what happened to my life between losing weight, which was not the number one thing was to lose weight. The number one thing was to get fit, to really get fit. At the age of 60, I wanted to get fit. I wanted to stop being tired. So everything got simplified. I mean, everything. And even in the purchasing of the meat, we have a supermarket down the road. My town that I live in is not a big town. So we don't have a super center. We have a small place, but it's part of a chain. So here's what I do, Dave. I go to the store. I walk to the back, to the meat aisle. In the back is all the meat. And to the back and just slightly to the right is the discount meat. This meat has to be bought today, because if you don't buy it today, I don't know what they're doing it. I really don't know what they do with it. I assume they throw it out. I assume so. So, and you're saving $4 a pound or $5 a pound, depending on what you buy. Lamb, anything, steak, meats, all meats. So I have not paid full price for meat in the last 5 months. I only buy the discount meat, and I'll buy a lot of it. And I have a freezer in the garage. So if I don't, here's my deal. I see it, I buy it, I cook it, I eat it. We're done. It's that simple. It's all part of the simplifying of my life. and simplifying my diet and simplifying my health. And I haven't paid full price for meat in 5 months. And my wife says to me, don't go telling the world this, because once the world finds out, meat prices, because they've gone up, they will go up even higher. And discount meat will become like the price of regular meat. You know what I'm saying? And you're just gonna shoot yourself in the foot by telling this guy all your secrets. I said, I don't think it's a secret. I don't think I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. But if I do, Dave, yeah. So if I do ruin it, God bless us all. I hope. I hope that everybody watches this and goes, wait a minute. You mean it's not expensive to be on carnivore? You mean you can do it cheaply? You can do it less expensively. I'll say that. And you can just find your store. Every store has discount meat, every store. But somehow, Dave, I've been really fortunate. When I go, there's a selection. But when I leave the store, there's a lot less of a selection. So I feel bad for the carnivore who shows up after me. He probably, like in Seinfeld, when Jerry Seinfeld would go, Newman, there's probably somebody that goes, Canyon, God, he beat me to it. He picked up all the meat.
Congratulations on the weight loss.
Thank you.
Did you have this amount of energy before, or is this a product of carnivore?
Yes, it is sort of yes and yes, but sort of no and yes. Yes, when I was younger, way younger, teenager, healthier, I was a dynamo. And then I became an adult. And I assumed the role that I thought an adult should play, the money earner, all of that, the worker, just like dad. And then I started to eat, sleep less, eat more, stress more, worry more. Oh, and then of course, icing on the cake, get married, and partner up so we both can get stressed and work more and eat more and owe more and pay more and spend more, and then raise a child and dogs and cats and pay for this house that wasn't very expensive, but we couldn't afford it. So we bought it anyway, because that's what we do. We buy houses. I don't know about your end of the world, but my end of the world, we love buying houses we can't afford. So, it's a status symbol. Can you afford it? No. Oh, congratulations. You've moved up in the world. So, I do have energy. I have carnivore energy now. I've had the busiest last 5 days for various reasons. And it's great to be able to go into the late evening and keep on going. I worked a full day today, by the way. I'm a truck driver still. I worked a full day. I made deliveries. I deliver asphalt. And I drove 400, well, with the commute, about 500 miles. I don't know how many kilometers that is. My apologies. Yeah, but that's every day. That's 400 to 500 miles every day. It's just, yard work, the pool, the wife, my hobbies. It's just been a different existence on this planet. It's like going from the original Apollo missions to the Tesla rockets. It's like, holy cow. It's like, it's a whole different, we're using less fuel to go further, more efficiently, and all that. It's kind of like, that's the best analogy I can come up with. I'm a new and improved Dave 2.0 or whatever it is. Everybody says that, but apparently you asked that question because you're seeing something on your screen that indicates there's more energy. And that is true.
I mean, you don't strike me as a typical kind of 60-year-old. Like,
Good.
it just feels like there's this thing when people start eating the proper nutrition, and it's like it just reverses people's age.
It's unbelievable. By the way, you can't see it right now, but I had a cold sore here like 3 or 4 days ago. So my story on cold sores are, I'm sure this is going to be the best part of your interview now. No guest before has, let me tell you about my cold sores, Dave. I used to have these horrible, first of all, once upon a time, I had nothing. I was totally healthy. Then I got older, 40s, 50s. I don't remember when I got my first cold sore. I was like, what is this? I didn't kiss anything. I didn't touch anything. Why do I have a cold sore? My wife doesn't have a cold sore. I don't think she's messing around. I'm not messing around. So cold sore, scabby, big, painful, ugly. And you walk around the day like this, whatever you can do, awful. Since October of 23, which is like 5 or 6 months now, I think I've had 2 or 3, but they've been so minuscule, so minimal, And this last one, I caught it very early. I put a patch on. I went to sleep with it. In 3 days, gone. None of that ooze and scare. Like I don't want to gross all your viewers out, but it's like, wow. My wife just now. I showed it to her. I said, look, 3 days, 4 days. She goes, that is different. That is something totally different for you. I mean, listen, I have a few other issues I'd like Carnivore to take care of. I'm a man of 60. There's things that I can't do anymore that I wish I could do. I don't mean to take your show into an R-rated show, but you know what I'm saying? But at least I don't have to worry about this anymore. I'm 99%, 99.9%, if you want to go crazy, gas free, which is fantastic. So I can be in public, Dave. I can take a yoga class, which I've done, and I can get into all different positions that kind of, if you're gassy, can stimulate some exciting movements in your body. I don't do that anymore. And when I do it, it's very little. It's usually when I wake up and we're done. It's kind of like, that gun that you shoot and out comes bang. It's like nothing happens. And it used to be I was a gun. I was like a cannon. Boom. And it's like, oh my God, not so silent but deadly. Now it's just, and like nothing happens. And I'm 99.9% less gas, 99% more energy. And I don't know about you, and I don't know about your viewers, but I don't go to the bathroom every day. I mean, I don't do whatever you want to call it. The mature number is number 2. I don't know what else to call it. I don't defecate every day. It's sometimes 3 or 4 days in between. It's so long in between, I don't even remember the last time I went. I don't remember, which is great, which is amazing to me. So less time sitting down, which used to be my thinking time. But what would I think about? I would think about what I'm going to eat when I get off this toilet. When I get off this throne, I'm going to go eat something really horrible. And I would be depressed or angry or whatever like that. But now it's like, wow. And then I get this feeling like, I think I have to go. Maybe not. I don't know. And all right, we'll see. And like, it's great. There's no running to the loo. I'm not running. There's no emergency. And as a truck driver, I really appreciate that, because sometimes you're miles and miles away from anywhere that is considered a restroom. So it's really been, I mean, we can go down the long list of all the things a human encounters in a daily life. And in every shape, way, and form, Carnivore has totally changed my life. And I don't miss anything I don't eat anymore. And I drive by it all, day and night. The urban blight of fast food, all the commercials on TV, all of that, all the cheese and all that sauce and all that restaurants and all of that dramatic footage, that cinematic beauty, those Oscar-winning commercials. You should eat this. No, I don't. The answer to all my questions, I don't have any questions, but the answer to all of them, eat steak. You'll be fine.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I've got to say, you gave me a painful reminder about my first and last yoga class that I ever took, for exactly the reasons that you stated.
Really?
Fortunately, it was in Japan. So when I let one rip, everyone kind of pretended it didn't happen. But,
right.
Had I been in Australia, I would never have heard the end of that one.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So, like, how are you eating day to day? Are you just doing one meal a day?
You know what's interesting? It's basically 2. I don't snack. It's basically 2, but here's the deal. You know how you can make anything a thing. This is my thing, 1 a day, 2 a day. My life has gotten so simple, I really don't even think about it anymore. Am I hungry? I will eat. I am not hungry. I don't eat. If the kitchen closes at 6 p.m. and it opens, because I'm also intermittent fasting, which I think kind of goes in hand with Carnivore, but it doesn't have to. Nothing has to. There's no rules. That's anybody who's watching. There's no rules. Not for me. For me, it's live life. Try to be less stressless, as much as possible. I mean, the whole world is just forcing stress down our throats. Why would I create more stress for myself? I'm the boss of myself. I'm the king of myself. So I'm not going to impose a tax on myself. I'm not going to, not going to give myself these rules I can't live by. So when I'm hungry, I eat. And when I'm not hungry, I don't eat. But the kitchen kind of opens at 10 a.m. and kind of closes at 6 p.m. And if I should happen to eat earlier, which I've done, and I happen to eat later, which I've done, there's no guilt. There's no blame. There's no disappointment. There's no sadness. Like, oh, I'm not strong enough. I don't have the willpower. Oh, I didn't do it. Oh, no 5 days in a row for carnivore for me, because there is no in a row for me. This is the rest of my life. This has been since mid-October 23. And if I want to go have an ice cream, which is not good for me, down the road to this fantastic ice cream. It just happened about an hour and a half ago. My wife and I were driving around. She goes, "You want to go get some ice cream?" And I went, no, not today. And she was like, "Yeah, me either." I said, "Okay, that's it." But if I had said yes, I would have enabled her, and we both would have had ice cream. We do the simple kid scoop, whatever it is, and we would have enjoyed it. We've done this months ago. We get a little cup, get a little ice cream, yum yum yum. We're done, and then we don't have ice cream for months. I'm not going to make this a thing. It's not going to be stressful. I like to eat, and with carnivore, I do. So I eat like a king, and I feel like an Olympian, which is fantastic. I mean, really, at 60, it's fantastic. And I don't get exhausted after I eat. I don't go, all right, loosen the belt. Let's put on the telly, let's just put our head back and doze off. I do get tired. Yes, my battery does go down. It might not seem like it, but my battery does wind down. But not because I ate a big bowl of pasta or rice, ice cream, or anything that is high carb and high sugar and low protein. It's fantastic.
Mm. So I guess I mean the last 5 months, the feeling of fullness must have changed for you, because at first it's quite disconcerting, right? Because it's like, am I full? Do I need to eat? I don't feel like I need to eat, but I don't feel full either, right?
It's amazing. I've heard that many times from many people, and it's great because now when I have these conversations, carnivores come out of the closet. It's like a new thing. Like should I say something? I don't know, because I don't want to, it. Listen, this is not going to be a good catchphrase, but carnivore is like the new gay. It's like, oh, you've come out. You've come out of the freezer. You've come out of the refrigerator. Yes, I'm a carnivore. Good for you. Good on you. I'm a carnivore too. So this just happened the other day at the job. Truck drivers are not exactly the highest cultured people, sorry to say, in the United States, maybe the world. They don't really share their feelings. We're not really a feeling sharing group of employees. But one guy did come out the other day, and we were just talking. And because I don't care anymore. I'm so brave. I don't care. I'm out. I'm as out as I can be. And I said, yeah, I just eat steak. It's the answer. I mean, I eat more than steak, but that's the answer to all the questions. And this guy went, you too? I said, yeah. He goes, I did carnivore. I carnivore months ago. And this guy really was so smart. This guy, Jeremy, that I met. I just met him because I never met him before. I was at a facility. And boy, this guy was like he's one certificate away from being a nutritionist / chemist / educator. This guy knew more than I do. I mean, I don't know anything. I just know to eat steak. That's, again, it's very simple. I've had moments where I sit there and I go, I could eat more because it's delicious, but I don't really need to eat more because I'm hungry. So that's my new battle. Is it delicious? Which it is. Yes. Or am I hungry? And I sit there and I'm eating slower. I'm eating much slower because it's so delicious. Listen, I'm no chef. I barbecue. I barbecued more in the last, which it finally got warm here in New York. So I've barbecued more in the last month. And I had this nice grill, not a fancy grill, but nice enough. More in the last month than I have in my entire life. I mean, I had a cover. We bought it for guests, which we never have. we don't have guests, but we bought it just in case. We do that. We're one of those people. We should buy it just in case. Okay, but it never happens. Well, just in case, So we have a just in case grill that I've never used. It has a cover on it. It's all moldy and everything, because it just sits there underneath the tree and it gets rained on. But the other day I said, I'm enjoying my steak on the stove. I think I'm going to try it on the grill. and I've never been known to be a griller. I don't like the smoke. I don't like cooking for people. It's like hot, and it's never as rewarding as everybody has always said it is. And now it is because I'm cooking for me. I mean, it sounds selfish, but I'm cooking steak on a flame for me so I can eat like a king and feel like an Olympian. So that is a good question. There are times where I sit there and go, I want to finish this steak, but I don't know if I'm hungry or it's because it's delicious. And then it makes a nice conversation. And I think most of the time I do eat it, but there are times I don't. And I can buy 3 pounds or whatever it is of, that last day sale of steak, and I'll split it in half. So 1 pound today, 1 pound tomorrow. And I've done that really a lot. So, am I still like a binge eater, or am I still, do I have like food issues? I might. I'm not denying that. I think that's how this whole thing started, eating all that, sadness, resentment, anger, all that. But if you're just going to eat whole foods, you're really going to eat good food, and your body's going to be like, thank you. Thank you so much. I love you so much. You're the greatest body ever. Thank you. Then I don't think there's no guilt. There's no shame. I never feel disappointed. In 5 months, 6 months, that's pretty good for a man of my age. I have not felt disappointed in myself. Not for eating. I mean, for other things, of course, but not for eating. But really, even other things, it's like, I'm all right. I'm going to be okay, and things are going to get better and better. And this is the easiest, simplest, most tasty diet. I don't like calling it a diet. I don't know what you call it. I try to call it carnivore. I try not to call it a diet, and I tried calling it a food plan. That doesn't seem to work either. So I just try to call it carnivore. I don't know. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I try to avoid diet more and more. Like I just like I eat carnivore as just like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I try to work it into my English as good as possible.
Yeah.
But I have enough problems with English that I'm going to try to manipulate it to my to my satisfaction. So people go, "Oh yeah, I understand you, Dave. You eat carnivore." But yeah, I mean that's a great question, and I have sat at the kitchen table going, "What do I do? I want to eat the rest of this. It's so delicious. Salt and pepper and butter. I should add butter. Salt and pepper and butter. That's my 3 favorites. So now I can simplify my spice tray. I can get rid of the turmeric. I can get rid of the parsley, sage, and thyme. Steak seasoning, I still keep. Every so often I feel funny. I throw something different on. But for the most part, it's salt and pepper and butter. And on my eggs, my pork, on my lamb.
How has your wife been doing with it?
She's doing great. She's doing great. Now I was way bloated at 297. She was never that bloated. But here's what she's done. If you could possibly get a medical license from watching hundreds, if not thousands of hours of YouTube, that would be her. She has gone to medical school. So she's the college graduate out of the two of us. She's the smart one. I barely made it through high school. I made it through high school on my looks and my charm. And I think because they also were sick of me, like, you need to go. You need to go. So here's your degree. Here's your diploma. Shove off. And yeah, I wasn't this pleasant 40, 50 years ago. But if I was a carnivore, who knows what I would have been. But anyway, so she's basically gone to medical school, and she knows things like over. It's amazing. So she's eating, but so I was never a steak, quote unquote, a steak eater. She doesn't eat steak at all, and she doesn't eat steak to this very day. He has never been a ground beef eater at all. But every so often, we'll slip in a little Burger King or McDonald's, and if it's covered and she can't see it, it's a very strange thing. If she doesn't see the meat and it's covered in mushrooms or cheese and bread, sausage and peppers, we like sausage or peppers, as long as it's covered, she doesn't have a picture of the animal, she's fine. But now and she used to be a big chicken eater. So she's reduced her chicken consumption, and she's upgraded, increased her beef consumption, ground beef, 80, 20, 75, 25, whatever. And she has been eating ground beef. And the other day she said to me, I'm craving it now. And I'm really tired of chicken. And she goes to the store We have Aldi's here. I don't know if you have Aldi's over there, but we have Aldi's. And she gets the ground beef from Aldi's all the time. And she eats more shrimp now. She eats Aldi's ground beef. She hasn't gone into the steak. Chicken, much less chicken. And so she has a little bit of more eggs, of course, eggs and cheese and all that. Bacon. She loves the bacon. She won't eat my pork. She won't eat my lamb. And she won't eat my steak. So that cow thing, that sheep, goat thing, whatever, she hasn't crossed that line yet. But ground beef, that's a good start. And I
Yeah.
promised her I won't sneak the liver in there because I'm going to grind up some liver into the ground beef. But I won't do that to her because that would be grounds for divorce. She would leave me. She would
Yeah.
see. She would say, "What did
Wow.
you do? I put liver in your beef. I'm out. You got to go." So, I'm just trying to help you. No, can't play that
So
game.
I guess this is it for you guys, like Carnivore for life.
I don't see any other way to go. I'm 242 the other day, down from 297. See these trophies behind me? I put these up sort of purposely. These are go-kart trophies. All right. Racing. I race go-karts as a hobby. All my life as a little boy, I wanted to be a race car driver, F1, NASCAR, whatever. Jackie Stewart back in the day, Richard Petty, all I wanted to be. And growing up in Brooklyn, New York, everybody is stick and ball. Everybody, baseball, hockey, basketball, football. I'm the only kid. I'm the oddball that's into auto racing. And of course, my father had no idea what I was talking about. He was like, "What are you talking about? We don't do that." But I want to do it. Now, that's not what we do. Well, okay, Dad, thank you for your support. So I turned to a certain age. I got the money. I got the time. And I went out and bought myself a racing go-kart. There's a track about an hour from here, Poughkeepsie Speedway, very professional. It's not, we don't get paid, but this is not amusement park. This is real go-kart racing. Last year, I was 290 some odd pounds. I could barely do 3 laps without not passing out, but I had to pull off the track because I couldn't breathe anymore. The helmet, the everything. It's just I'd be struggling. When you have those G forces and all that fat, everything is pushing on your heart because you're turning left, whatever it was. I couldn't breathe, and I spent a lot of money, but I could only do 3 or 4 laps at a time. So I ended up not racing for the rest of the year, and I was a little bit bummed out about it. And by the way, I also bought a 3XL jacket, a racing jacket, flame retardant and all that, and it wouldn't fit me. I couldn't zip it up. 3XL. I couldn't zip it up. So they would let me wear it and tuck it in so it doesn't flap in the wind. Then I ended up splitting it as whatever. It was just embarrassing, really embarrassing. But it's okay. They were very supportive. Everybody understood. I'm a man of a certain age and a certain weight. It's fine. Took some time off from karting. A year later, I come back. I'm 50 some odd pounds lighter. Dave, I can go to practice. I can go do a competitive day or practice day. When I go to practice day, I'm doing 80 to 100 laps, 20 at a time, which might not seem like a lot in a go-kart, but let me tell you something. You're still holding on for dear life. We're going pretty fast. We're going on an oval. It's not a road course. And you're holding on for dear life. And I've been in competition, and it's very exciting. And there's no fatigue. No fatigue in the hands, gripping the steering wheel. There's no fatigue anywhere. I come off the cart. I'm sweating like I am now because it's hot in New York. It's very hot in New York. I told my wife to turn on the AC. I'm doing a show. Turn on the AC. And I think she did, but I don't really feel it. But I sweat when I get out of there. I take the helmet off and I take the head thing off. But I'm doing 80 laps per practice, and I'm competitive. And this is my childhood dream. I mean, this is what I grew up thinking about my whole life, that I wanted to do that. But it just wasn't in the cards. The family wasn't understanding, and my family didn't do that sort of thing. And so basically, my motto these days is I want to live my next 30 years, not my last 30 years. I have to be careful what you wish for because you might get it. I started off saying that, but then I changed it. I want to live my next 30 years like I should have lived my first 30 years, right? Educating, growing, experiencing, and mastering disciplines, any discipline. There's no discipline I don't want to master. I don't care if it's ballroom dancing. I don't care if it's fencing. I don't care if it's go-kart racing or I run 5Ks now. I'm running. I'm in a program to run the New York City Marathon in 2025. There's nothing I can't accomplish, and I don't see any reason to get off a carnivore. I love the taste. I love the shopping. I love the cooking. I love the experience of sitting there looking at this food in front of me going, and by the way, crazy thing, I said to you, I'm not a steak eater. I said to you, I'm not a griller. I'm not a religious man. I'm not a religious man. I don't know if that bothers you or offends you or anybody who's watching. I just don't do church or temple. I respect it. I just don't do it. I sit at the table now. I take a moment and I say, thank you, Lord. Thank you for this wonderful, wonderful meal in front of me. I super appreciate it. I don't know how to say this to you. This is not what I know how to do, but I'm saying thank you very much. And I really appreciate it. And that's it. Then I say, love you. Bye. I don't know how, my wife says, did you just say love you, bye to God? I go, yeah, I think I did. I don't know. How are you supposed to say goodbye? You don't hang up, the line is always open, right? So I say, love you, bye.
Yeah.
And so I don't do it every time, but there are times where I say to myself, you better appreciate this meal because this is changing your life. Everything.
Wow. So, how would you recommend this to a friend? How would you recommend they get started?
Oh, well, that's easy. Just start. Just have something other than what you normally would have. If you're eating the SAD diet, so in your part of the world, it wouldn't be SAD because it's. Oh, are you in Australia?
No,
No.
I am Australian, but I'm in Japan.
Okay. Oh, wow.
It's kind of the SJD here, maybe.
Okay, SJD. So whatever, it's always S something D. We get it. So just one by one, change it. Just eat some meat, eat steak. I mean, that is the joke. It's funny because my wife will go, something, she'll propose this question. It could be a school because she's a teacher. Could be a school question. This kid, I don't know, this administrative person, whatever. I go, oh, I got the answer for you. And she'll go, like, I get her. I hook her. She goes, really? What should I do? I go, eat a steak. She goes, you got me again. She falls for it a lot. It's because I sell it. But really, what would I tell a friend? I said, listen, look at me. You know what I used to look like. You know what I used to sound like. You know what I used to be like. And I'm only at 242 now. I don't have a numeric goal, like 200 or whatever, but I have an athletic goal. I have a fitness goal. If I can master more disciplines, if I could stay alive, I plan to retire one of these days, 60, 61. I might go back to school. I actually applied to university 2 days ago. I put in an application. So I might retire early and go back to school and study broadcast media so I can learn how to use a microphone like you and all this other stuff. So, but see, these are things I should have done my first 30 years. I should have went to school. I should have did my homework. I should have studied instead of eating Frosted Flakes every day with all that sugar. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't know. You can bleep that out if you want. But all those sugared cereals, all those Oreo cookies, all that sugar. Dave, can you imagine the sugar? All that sugar in my body? I used to drink tea, Lipton tea. When you go to a Chinese restaurant, you always have the tea. What would I do? Just watch that white mountain just pour it into the tea. And my parents wouldn't say, that's enough. They would go, yeah, I know you don't like the taste of tea, but we just had Chinese food, so they served this tea. You should drink it. So I just pour sugar in it. And then that would be Friday night. And then Saturday morning, I'm watching Saturday morning cartoons in the United States. And every half hour is a bowl of some sugared cereal with milk. Milk was okay, but I really destroyed my brain. I really had problems in school. Behavior, comprehending, learning, all of that stuff. And I attribute that to the drug that we now know is sugar, and all the other stuff I ate that was just awful. I could have been a contender. Go ahead.
You know what's awesome though is that it's only been 5 months and like everything's turned around.
Almost everything. Let's just be clear. There's one or two more things. I haven't grown any hair back, and that's as far as I'm going to go. The other thing, I'll let you use your imagination. But I'm optimistic. And if it doesn't happen, the hair thing is not going to happen. If it doesn't happen, either one of those two things doesn't happen, I'm fine. I'm fine because so many other things are happening, and it's about time. And I'm glad it was. I'm glad it was my wife that introduced it to the family, and I'm glad that I'm able to do it. It's not hard. It's easy. It's easier than sitting there going, "What am I going to put in my salad? All right, the green, the red, the yellow. Slice, slice, slice. Clean. Oh, it's got pesticides. Clean it first. Rinse it in the water. Shake it up. Salad dressing. Oh my God. It's like so much work. See it, buy it, cook it, eat it. We're done. So simple. $4 or $5 pound per pound less. Although now that the whole world knows, it's over for me. No more
Yeah.
discount meat. I hope you're not. I hope your viewership isn't huge in New York. I'm sorry to say that, but no, I'm only kidding.
So, Dave, how can people reach out to you? Do you have any social media, YouTube channel, anything like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my YouTube channel is Dave's Fit Life, Daves Fit Life. So I'm on YouTube, although I haven't really gone to Carnivore on my YouTube channel. I should have 5 months ago. God only knows how many viewership I would have grown by now, but I really didn't know this was going to happen. And I didn't do it for that. I didn't do it for the YouTube. I did it for myself, but I will be eventually doing it and all that. And then I have my podcast, Dumbing It Down with Dave, which is a shameless plug on the TV over there. But my son helped me set that up. But thank God. He goes, Dad, you should do that. I said, okay. He knows things. I don't know anything. But Dumbing It Down with Dave is my podcast where I talk about personal stuff and I talk about politics. I talk about anything that's on my mind. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. It's a little homage to Douglas Adams, and the search for it all. But Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and all that. But uh, yeah, Dave's Fit Life, Dumbing It Down with Dave Canyon, with a C, Canyon, and I love to hear from people if they want to ask me a question, and the answer I'm telling you right now, it's going to be steak. Have a steak, you'll be fine, and then work your way up from there. It's the easiest thing to do.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Dave, and sharing your story with us. I really appreciate your time.
Dave, thank you so much for having me. I love watching your videos and everybody that's doing this. This revolution is happening, and the truth is going to come out in every which way but loose, and the lies will eventually be exposed. And I hope that we have a healthier planet and a healthier world to live in, because this is a crisis like every other crisis that we're talking about. The way we feed ourselves. It's very important to know the truth about what your body needs, the proper human diet.